Hey folks, Ray at DCRainmaker.com here. I've got a look at the new Spotify app on the VivoActive 3 Music. Now you'll remember Spotify first came to Garmin's wearables back in October on the Fenix 5 Plus series, and then that was moved into I think the December time frame or so, maybe it was January, for the 645 Music. And then finally now here in February, we've got the VivoActive 3 Music as well as the LTE edition that also gets the same app update once that particular watch starts shipping. So this is a really quick and easy video. I'm on basically vacation and so I'm in an Airbnb, and this is just the set that I've got. It's like a pinball machine. It actually works too, by the way. I'm gonna walk you through getting it all set up on this. Again, very straightforward. Keep in mind the main reason you wanna do this is the fact that you don't have to take your phone with you. The VivoActive 3 Music, like the Fenix 5 Plus and the 645 Music, allow you to connect to Bluetooth headphones directly and go ahead and put music on the device itself. Previous Garmin watches don't have the storage or the connectivity to do that, so you have to have one of those particular watches in order for this all to work. So I'm basically going to get all set up from start to beginning, kind of show you the basics of it all. Now, if you're familiar with the Spotify app on Garmin's other wearables, then frankly, it's the exact same thing. Okay, here we are on the phone and the watch itself. We'll start off with the phone and then we'll go ahead and transition entirely to the watch. Here is the Garmin Connect to Mobile app. You'll need to click this More button right there, and then you'll see the Connect IQ Store right there. Go ahead and just select that. If you have multiple Garmin devices like I do, make sure you've selected the correct one at the top, in my case the VivoActive 3 Music, and it'll take just a second for that to pull up. You can do this over LTE or over Wi-Fi. This particular section doesn't really matter here as to how you do it. My LTE isn't super fast, but that's all right. Up here in the top, we'll just simply type in Spotify. There we go, and click go. It'll search for the Spotify app in the store, and you can see it right there. Go ahead and tap this. Okay, now if you look here down the bottom under compatible devices, you will see the VivoActive 3 Music is now listed there. The VivoActive 3 LTE will also be listed here as well once they release that, but at this point in time it's not released. Simply tap this download button right there, and it's going to go ahead and ask you permission to send and receive information over the internet from that. We'll click allow, and then right here it's going to simply note that the next time you sync the device, it'll go ahead and install for you automatically. So we'll go ahead and let it do that in the background. You can speed that process up if you want to by clicking more down there, Garmin devices, and then you'll see the device listed, and go ahead and just simply press the sync button next to it. Again, in my case, I have a lot of devices, and sometimes this menu takes a little while, and you can see it's already synchronizing itself. Now, once the app is installed, you'll go ahead and get a confirmation message on your watch that the app is completed installing. You can then go to the music widget. In most cases, it's fastest to simply swipe down to find the music widget. You can see mine right there. I'm going to go ahead and click on the little library icon, and then now you'll see immediately it asks to go ahead and sign in on my phone to Spotify. So we'll click the sign in button right there, and now it's going to open up an authorization to my Spotify account. So you can see right here it shows logged in as DC Rainmaker. If you haven't actually logged in on Spotify yet on your phone for some reason, then you need to go ahead and do that. But in my case, I'm already logged in, and it just wants access to my Spotify account so it can authorize this particular device onto my account. Click the agree button there, and then in just a moment, this thing will go ahead and authorize over here. There we go. And now we've got the Get It Started menu, and we're ready to roll. So let's go ahead and move this in and kind of zoom in a little more so you can see what's going on. You'll no longer need your phone. It's not used for anything else. Okay, so here we are with the Get It Started menu. We're just going to go ahead and tap this right there, and we have the ability to add music and podcasts and view settings. We'll simply start off with add music and podcasts. Now in this case, we're totally talking about Spotify. So Spotify playlist, recently played, and so on. If I just click that right there as I did, it'll go ahead and pull my Spotify recently played playlist. So you can see happy hits, workouts, and so on. I can go back by swiping from the left. A little bit hard to do this one-handed there. And then I click on playlist to see those playlists that I've added. This is in the order that you've added those playlists to your Spotify account. So I just added in the last week or so the MKBHD videos Spotify track. That's like his tracks that he uses in his videos. My wife added Feel Good Dinner there, and workout, and so on. Now you'll notice a second ago I just noted that I had not configured Wi-Fi yet for this device, which will be important, and we'll go ahead and do that right now. So the easiest way to set up Wi-Fi is to simply use the Garmin Connect Mobile app. In your device itself, you'll go under General and then Wi-Fi Networks right there, and then from here you click on Add Network and let the watch search for the Wi-Fi network. So my Airbnb right there is this one, and I go ahead and enter the password in for that. Super advanced password. There we go. And now I'll go ahead and do a test from over here because this is the device that's connecting to it. And we're good to go. This means I can now go ahead and download the music over Wi-Fi. The VivoActive 3 Music will use Wi-Fi for all Spotify downloads. There is no downloading over USB or anything like that, whereas the LTE version of the VivoActive 3 Music will use LTE and cellular because that device actually does not have any Wi-Fi chip in it at all. They took it out, which is kind of bizarre to me. In any case, here are the tracks that we were looking at earlier, so you can see those playlists there, workout playlists, etc. If I click the workout playlist, it's going to go ahead and search for the Wi-Fi network and start downloading that playlist. And it really is as simple as that. It will note that it's better to put the watch next to the Wi-Fi access point as well as to plug it in for a bit faster performance or to ensure that you just get your entire playlist downloaded. And in this case, my Wi-Fi network is pretty crappy here, so it's taken just a couple extra seconds to get that. And you saw earlier there's a giant brick wall right there, so that's probably not helping the scene too much. Okay, there we go, just a note saying for best performance, plug it on in, no problem. We'll swipe down, we'll click OK, and then off it will go downloading. There we go. Now in general, what I found is it takes about 1 minute per 10 songs on most Wi-Fi connections. A little bit slower here because my Wi-Fi and the internet associated with it is pretty crappy, but that's sort of what you can generally expect for downloading a Spotify. So in this case, I think this list had about 60 songs or so it will probably take between 5 and 6 minutes for this to complete. I'll go ahead and let it do that and then show you what happens once it's done. Oh, and while we're waiting, if you find this video interesting, go ahead and whack that like button at the bottom. It really helps the channel quite a bit. I appreciate it. Okay, so that finished up. It took about 7 minutes for it to complete. I went ahead and actually moved the watch right over next to the router itself, and that seemed to help it a little bit compared to being out here. It wasn't as strong. You'll notice on the list of playlists there that the workout one that we downloaded has the remove icon next to it versus the other ones has that little add kind of download looking icon there. Now this again is just kind of the place that you would manage those playlists, so it's actually not where you play them. So if we wanted to download another one, we just would tap on it and we'd start downloading. Instead, I'm going to swipe to the right there like this. There we go. And this is again places that we could add additional playlists. You'll see the made for you ones for Spotify. You can choose from workout ones that they've kind of pre-built for you, including that workout one that you just saw right there. There's some like running ones, just certain beats and stuff like that, different tempos. Those are all in there, as well as podcasts are located in that same spot. And now each time it's doing that, it's pulling this over Wi-Fi. And you'll see, for example, that it may take a couple seconds for these album covers to load up in there. But eventually they do load, and again, depending on your Wi-Fi and internet speeds and all that kind of fun stuff. You just saw that top one there loaded in, and as I go down the list, this one right there will probably show up in about 3, 4, 5 seconds, something like that. There we go, boom, right in. Anyways, back to all of our list itself. This is our library. This is what we've actually downloaded. In my case, I've downloaded just this workout library. Again, I go down to the bottom here and choose to add more, and I just happen to click on the option of that particular playlist itself, so it's going to go ahead and start playing that by connecting to my headphones right here. Now you need some sort of Bluetooth headphone or Bluetooth music device. In my case, I have these like $20 Anchor ones that I bought over Black Friday sales, but that doesn't really matter. As long as the Bluetooth device that can connect to this, it'll play music back there. You could use a Bluetooth speaker like a Jambox or whatever they call them these days. I'm going to go ahead and turn the actual headphones on, so just press that little button there. There we go. Now it's turned on. And if I click the play button there we go. And in fact, if I take this up here and put it right next to the mic, you can probably hear it. There you go. So you can hear the music there coming right on through. I can skip the music by just simply pressing this little skip button right there. Go on to the next track. I can pause the music if I want to. There we go. I can go ahead and I can press these little dot 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 button there. And I can go and change like volume, I can change shuffle, repeat, all that kind of fun stuff. Again, swipe to the right to get back to the menu. And it also works with these buttons that are on the headphone itself. So I can do volume increase there, as well as skip track and whatnot, depending on what your particular headphones support. Now, the way this works on the Garmin system, on Spotify in general, is that you're only looking at the playlist level. So you're not going to go ahead and be able to select an individual track to play. You always have to choose a playlist or a podcast or some sort of group of of songs together. So for example, again, if I click on this workout playlist there, it just dives right into it. I can skip to the next track if I don't like a track, but I can't like go search for a given artist or anything like that. That's more the regular music player portion of the Garmin watch, but it's not something that you can do with a lot of the streaming services, like they have iHeartRadio. And lastly, if you want to manage some of that music, so for example, Spotify, a lot of the music is dynamic. You go back into the library there and you go down and you'll see the update downloads option right there. A little more, there we go, update downloads. What this will do is it'll go ahead and stop the music playback and it'll connect back over Wi-Fi there. So if I just tap this continue button, search for Wi-Fi, and it's going to find any new songs that may be added to that playlist and update all your playlists, in fact. So not just that one playlist, but any playlist you have on your device from Spotify, it'll go ahead and grab that. And again, super quick, the same sort of time frames before. So if you've got 60 new tracks to download across all of your playlists, it'll go ahead and take 5 to 7 minutes or so. Also, the battery right now is too low to apparently sync music, so it looks like it wants to plug in a charger, which is kind of weird because I think the battery here is at like, I don't know, not that low. I thought it's maybe like at 43%, so that seems like a little bit of an odd quirk there. Anyways, to get back to Spotify, you just swipe down again, and there you are right there. I click play, and it would just start immediately playing on these headphones. In case you're wondering on these headphones, like the 7-second review of these so far, is they work just fine. There's a little bit of a hiss, like a barely noticeable hiss if you're in a quiet room, but out running and stuff, I don't hear it at all. Like, it just simply doesn't happen. So for, I think, the 19 bucks that I paid for these, it'll be a taker until I kill a pair and move on to my next ones. Okay, so there you go, a complete look at setup and getting it all working, kind of the nuances of that. In terms of things like max music storage and stuff like that, I tried it on the Phoenix 5 Plus. I downloaded over 1,500 songs to it, so it sounds like it's purely just based on how much storage space you have on the unit itself. This has about 3 gigs of usable storage space, so you kind of just got to do the math on that based on how many songs you want and all that kind of stuff, but probably more than you're going to likely listen to anytime soon on a particular run. Again, remember that even in the LTE version of this, it's not going to stream the music, so it's going to go ahead and download it ahead of time. So if you do have an LTE version of the watch, then you need to go ahead and basically download your music before you start your run rather than after you start your run. So it's going to download it over LTE and then go ahead and allow you to play it back. And that sounds like, from talking to Garmin, a bit of an architecture change they need to make longer term with how their apps work and stuff like that. But for now, it's probably not a huge deal. I think the bigger issue with the LTE side of the VivoActive 3 Music is the fact that you have to use LTE to download your music, and it's already an expensive addition for that, so it just seems weird to me. Anyways, if you found this interesting, go ahead and whack that like button at the bottom there, or the subscribe button, or stay tuned for all sorts of good sports technology stuff over the next little while. I think going into March and April is going to be pretty busy, especially on the wearables front. Have a good one.